Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm coming at you with another exciting video. You're going to want to stick around for this one. This season has already been a thrilling one, and we're only 3/4 of the way through it. A rivalry that's been intriguing me is the one between the Californian teams. Not quite the LA Valiant, we'll leave them out, but between the LA Gladiators and the San Francisco Shock. So in this video I'm going to tell you guys who I think's winning the season so far, some pre-season expectations that people had for them, and who I think are going to reach higher levels when it comes to playoffs. So let's get into it. The LA Gladiators. This team was one of the high expectation teams of this season. They had an extremely stacked mixed roster, which made some people compare them to an old San Francisco Shock, which is always a nice compliment to get. The Gladiators historically have always been competitive, but this roster really gave me and many others the idea that they could win it all and take it home. The main concerns people had with this roster was DP, the head coach. Worries started arising now going into his 4th season coaching this team. None of these rosters had been pushed to what a viewer would expect to be their full potential. And if this roster didn't reach that once more, there would be outrage from fans. And who can blame them? If you look at some of the rosters this team has had historically, you wonder, how have these guys never made a grand finals at the very least? Let's move over to the Shock's preseason expectations now. The Shock were obviously a favourite coming into this season. After back-to-back championships, how couldn't they be? Not to mention how stacked their roster was looking. Unlike the Gladiators, coaching was not a problem in this team whatsoever. They had one of the proven greatest coaches in the league, Krusty. The fear for this team came from the amount of changes they'd made. First off, they lost Moth. This guy was most people's best main support in the league. He was definitely mine. Passive when necessary, but can turn up the tempo and dictate the pace of fights like it's nothing. And he's been replaced by FD God, a ridiculously Lee Jae Gong style aggressive player. Would this work with an already extremely aggressive flex support as they have in Violet? Another player being dropped I want to mention is Rascal. I think I had Rascal higher than many others did, but I thought he was phenomenal. I'd have said he was the best May in the league, and second only to the MVP of that season on Echo. The fact that they dropped these players willy-nilly may have caused a bit of worry in a Shock fan, caused some worry in me, but people including myself remained faithful, as, after all, they are 2-time champions, the San Francisco Shock. So let's talk about their seasons so far. How have their seasons actually gone down? Forget about the expectations, let's talk about reality. Well, both these teams find themselves in the top 5 at the NA, and both will be pushing to get one of those 3 guaranteed spots for playoffs from North America without having to go through play-ins. So far the Shock is higher in the standings, but that is by an extremely tiny margin. A single league point separates these two teams. As we look into the future, while right now Shock is higher than the Gladiators, I'm actually forecasting the Gladiators to continue their upwards trajectory of play and reach levels that we won't see from the Shock this season. The Glads I see overtaking the Shock, but in gameplay, to be honest, I think they already have. Recently, when we've seen Shock play, even when they're winning, they look predictable. I don't see the innovative strategies that we once saw from them. The Glads, on the other hand, I see a lot of versatility when they play. Even when some comps don't work out, it shows me that they're experimenting and testing to find the absolutely best compositions in many different circumstances, which, heading to the postseason, I think will be valued very, very highly. Also, the Gladiators were one of the few teams in North America that used the Wrecking Ball comps in the Summer Showdown, which just indicates that previous point exactly. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe and share. Comment down below which team you think is winning this season so far, the LA Gladiators or the San Francisco Shock, or the LA Valiant if you think they're winning. Anyone that puts that though, you're trolling with me. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.